Often compared to a supercomputer, the human brain is a marvel of nature, with capabilities far beyond any technology we've created. It's the command center of our body, the seat of our consciousness, and the source of our thoughts, emotions, and memories. From its intricate anatomy to its astonishing abilities, we'll explore how it shapes our experiences, drives our behavior, and continues to mystify and inspire scientists around the world. Get ready to be amazed, because here are over 50 incredible facts about the human brain that will blow your mind. 60% of the human brain is made of fat. Not only does that make it the fattiest organ in the human body, but these fatty acids are crucial for your brain's performance. Make sure you're fueling it appropriately with healthy, brain-boosting nutrients. According to Healthline.com, some of the best foods for a healthy brain include fatty fish, coffee, blueberries, turmeric, and broccoli, among many others. Check out the link to this article in the description. The human brain weighs 3 pounds. That's about as much as a half gallon of milk. However, size does not always imply intelligence. With that said, Albert Einstein's brain weighed 1.2 kilograms, which is about 130 grams lighter than the average brain. However, the neuron density of his brain was greater than the average brain. Humans have the largest brains in proportion to our body weight of the animal species, yet we don't have the largest brains. The largest brain belongs to the sperm whale, who have a 7.7 kilogram brain. The human brain is approximately 75% water, and even a slight dehydration can have a significant impact on brain health and cognitive function. Dehydration can lead to problems with focus, memory, brain fatigue, and brain fog, as well as headaches, sleep issues, and mood swings. The brain tissue is very fragile, soft and squishy, similar to the consistency of soft tofu or gelatin. This isn't too surprising, given that it's made up primarily of gray and white matter, as well as water. 25% of the cholesterol in the body lives in the brain. Cholesterol is essential to brain cells, and without enough of it, brain cells die. According to a research on cholesterol in brain disease, cholesterol is a major component of cell membranes and precursor of steroid hormones. It contributes to the regulation of ion permeability, cell shape, cell-to-cell interaction, and transmembrane signaling. The brain floats in a bath of cerebrospinal fluid, which acts like a shock absorber to ensure the brain doesn't get crushed by its own weight. Apart from protecting the brain, it performs other vital functions, including providing nourishment and waste removal. Although the exact number of brain cells isn't known, researchers do know that the brain contains billions of cells. All of these cells are hard at work, transmitting signals to the various parts of the body and processing sensory inputs. A piece of brain tissue the size of a grain of sand contains 100,000 neurons and 1 billion synapses. However, damage to neurons can have great impact. During a stroke, for example, blood is not able to get oxygen to the brain. As a result, brain cells can die, and abilities in that particular area of the brain can be lost. Similarly, Parkinson's disease occurs when the cells of a part of your brain called the substantia nigra start to die. Men tend to have larger brains than women. On average, the male brain is 10% bigger than the female brain, but that does not impact intelligence. However, the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory, is larger in the female brain. We can't tell how intelligent animals are from their brain size, as larger animals have larger brains. So, scientists sometimes use a measure called EQ, encephalization quotient, which takes account of body size. Humans have an EQ of 7.5, which means our brains are 7.5 times larger than expected for our size. Sometimes half a brain is as good as a whole one, which is evident during brain surgeries. When surgeons operate to stop seizures, they remove or disable half of the brain in a procedure known as a hemispherectomy. Shockingly, patients experience no effect on personality or memory. Although pain is processed in your brain has no pain receptors and feels no pain. This explains how brain surgery can be performed while the patient is awake with no pain or discomfort. Headache pain feels like it starts in your brain, but is caused by sensations from nearby skin, joints, sinuses, blood vessels, or muscles. When a baby is born, their brain size is approximately a little less than a quarter the size of the average adult brain. However, in the first year, it doubles in size and continues growing at a rapid pace. By age 5, a child's brain reaches about 90% of the size it will be in adulthood. Your brain isn't fully formed until age 25. Brain development begins from the back of the brain and works its way to the front. Therefore, your frontal lobes, which control planning and reasoning, are the last to strengthen and structure connections. Well, that explains why most of us make regrettable decisions during our teenage years. Your brain changes shape through a process called brain plasticity, or neuroplasticity. The structure of the brain alters with each new memory or skill learned, highlighting how dynamic and adaptable this organ truly is. The older we grow, it becomes more difficult in remembering things. This is because our brain and nerve cells shrink along with our age and are not able to filter and remove old memories which prevent it from absorbing new ideas. Your brain's storage capacity is considered virtually unlimited. Research suggests the human brain consists of about 86 billion neurons. Each neuron forms connections to other neurons, which could add up to 1 quadrillion, 1,000 trillion, connections. Over time, these neurons can combine, increasing storage capacity. However, in Alzheimer's disease, for example, many neurons can become damaged and stop working, particularly affecting memory. It's a myth that you only use 10% of your brain. You actually use all of it. Yes, even when you are sleeping. Neurologists confirm that your brain is always active. Our brains continue to produce new neurons throughout our lifespan, through a process called neurogenesis. However, it only occurs in certain parts of the brain. In humans, these include the hippocampus, an important memory structure, and the striatum, which plays diverse roles in movement and reward processing. The human brain can generate about 23 watts of power, enough to power a light bulb. All that power calls for some much-needed rest. Adequate sleep helps maintain the pathways in your brain. Additionally, sleep deprivation can increase the buildup of a protein in your brain that is linked to Alzheimer's disease. Despite comprising only 2% of the body, our brains consume 20% of the body's oxygen supply. This high energy requirement supports the complex biochemical reactions and electrical activity happening every moment within our brains. Productivity is an important factor for many people who try to complete multiple tasks at the same time. However, the human brain can't concentrate on two things at once, nor can it learn more than one thing at a time. It can toggle back and forth between tasks, but doing so can actually decrease your productivity as it's been linked to a decline in overall mental performance and attention span. While different types of information move at different speeds, the speed of nerve impulses can reach up to 268 miles per hour under certain conditions. This is faster than a Formula 1 race car at top speed. Your brain is such a powerful processing machine that it can process an image that your eyes saw for as little as 13 milliseconds, which is less time than it takes for you to blink. The brains of introverts and extroverts are measurably different. MRIs reveal that the dopamine reward network is more active in the brains of extroverts while introverts' brains have more gray matter. There's a reason the brain has been called a random thought generator. The average brain is believed to generate up to 50,000 thoughts per day. Of all these thoughts a person has every day, it's estimated that 70% of this mental chatter is negative, self-critical, pessimistic, and fearful. According to research done at Cambridge University, the order of letters in a word doesn't matter much to your brain. As long as the first and last letters are in the right spot, your brain can rearrange the letters to form words as fast as you can read. This is why you can easily make sense out of this jumble of letters. That's pretty amazing. 95% of all decisions take place in the subconscious mind. This means that the vast majority of our actions and behaviors occur due to brain activity that lies beyond our conscious awareness. For example, you have learned to remove your hand if it touches a hot stove instinctively. This behavior happens immediately and subconsciously. Stopping consciously and thinking through the process would take too long. Relying on GPS to navigate destroys your innate sense of direction, a skill that took our ancestors thousands of years to develop and hone. When areas of the brain involved in navigation are no longer used, those neural connections fade away via a process known as synaptic pruning. The blood-brain barrier protects the brain by preventing foreign substances entering the brain. However, it isn't perfect. Nicotine reaches the brain in 7 seconds and alcohol takes 6 minutes. Our brains crave mental stimulation, and humorously it is proven that men would rather give themselves an electric shock than sit in a room with only their thoughts. Stimulation enables brains to be alert, receptive and, hence, ready to attend and learn. Eyewitness accounts of criminal suspects is usually only about 50% accurate because it is difficult for your brain to remember the details of someone you're not familiar with. Traumatic events can also affect the brain's ability to remember details. You can't always believe your eyes. Your sense of vision depends on your brain as much as your eyes, but your brain uses shortcuts to process the stream of data from your eyes and figure out what you're looking at. Optical illusions take advantage of these shortcuts to trick you into seeing things that aren't really there. A brain freeze is really a sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. This pain occurs when cold hits the receptors in the outer covering of the brain, called the meninges. The cold creates a dilation and contraction of arteries, causing a rapid onset headache. Vitamin B1 is essential to producing the brain chemical acetylcholine, which is needed for concentrating and storing memories. An Australian study revealed that those who consumed B1 supplements and folic acid for 2 years improved long and short-term memory. Seafood is the most beneficial diet for the human brain, as it contains fatty acid which can increase the brain's performance up to 15%. One study, in which researchers studied brain autopsies, found that individuals who had included fish as a regular part of their diets had fewer markers of Alzheimer's disease than did those who ate little or no fish and seafood. Binge drinking or frequent sustained drinking can damage the ends of neurons, called dendrites. This damage can affect the ability for neurons to convey messages to each other. In addition, people with alcohol addiction can develop a neurological disorder called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, resulting in vision changes, loss of muscle control and impaired memory. If you were drinking last weekend and you don't remember what happened, it isn't because you forgot, it is actually because the brain under the influence of alcohol can't form new memories. As the amount of alcohol consumed increases, so does the magnitude of the memory impairments. Large amounts of alcohol, particularly if consumed rapidly, can produce partial, that is, fragmentary, or complete, that is, en bloc, blackouts, which are periods of memory loss for events that transpired while a person was drinking. The human brain can survive for about 5 to 10 minutes without oxygen, 2 days without water, 11 days without sleeping, 20 days without food. In extreme starvation, brain cells resort to eating themselves. Extreme dieting and low-fat diets can also make your brain begin to eat itself. Chronic stress and depression are becoming increasingly more common, yet both can cause significant brain shrinkage. Too much cortisol released when we are stressed causes brain cells to start dying. Chronic stress can shrink the amygdala, that's the area of the brain that's responsible for processing emotions, which can lead to depression and anxiety. And not just that, but cortisol is toxic to the hippocampus, the area of the brain that's responsible for memory function. More than 140 proteins in the brain are negatively impacted by the kind of electromagnetic frequencies that cell phones produce. According to a study on the effect of 2,400 MHz mobile phone radiation exposure, it was concluded that 2,400 MHz cell phone radiation affects the structural integrity of the hippocampus, which would lead to behavioral changes such as anxiety. As we journey through the extraordinary landscape of the human brain, we are constantly reminded of its unparalleled complexity and capability. This marvelous organ, weighing merely about 3 pounds, is the seat of our consciousness, the keeper of our memories, and the engine of our imagination. It's fascinating to think that every thought, every emotion, and every memory we experience is a result of the intricate dance of neurons and synapses within our brain. From the depths of critical thinking to the heights of creativity, the human brain is not just an organ of survival but an instrument of wonder. Our journey of understanding the brain is far from complete. Each day, researchers uncover new mysteries and insights, bringing us closer to understanding the true potential of the human mind. As we continue to explore and marvel at the complexities of the brain, let's remember the power it holds and the responsibility we have to nurture and protect this incredible organ. Just like the universe, the human brain is a vast frontier, filled with endless possibilities and wonders yet to be discovered. What new secrets will we uncover next? The journey is as limitless as the capabilities of our extraordinary brains.